just to one person or to one group. It is all in all, and it belongs to everyone. It works with everybody, whether we realize it or not. The non-realization of it makes no difference whatever. It is not concealed under books or in dark places. It is ever-present, omnipresent, pervading all things. It is the very substance and principle from which we live and move and have our being. Were it not for this very principle, that divinity in every person, we would not be able to take a picture of this group. Experience has proved this. The divine principle has residence within and permeates everything, every method of life and experience. It is that divine influence, that divine energy which is permanent, everlasting, all-encompassing. We have proved that through photography, or were it not for that divine energy, no photograph could be taken. The pictures recorded on a film are simply the emanating vibrations coming from the object or person of whom the picture is taken. This is proof of the divinity within each form. If we seek that divinity from without, we fail to find it, for we are looking outside ourselves for that which is as near to us as our hands and feet, as close as our heart, right within us. If we will go within, we will find divinity in all phases. Then why waste our time searching without for God? It is the same with the masters or elder brothers. They are right here within every form. They are as near to us as our heart. You do not have to travel to India or to any other country to see these masters. You can see them right where you are. When the student is ready, the master will appear. It is well known today that through a greater civilization, many ages past, a great reservoir, as it is called, was built up of the principles and God qualities and attributes that have been generated and manifested through countless eons of time. And that reservoir of good cannot be invaded by any condition of negative whatsoever. The mighty reservoir or momentum of God, good energy, and pristine purity stands there for all time, and the instant we think of that great, vibrating, pulsating principle, we become aware of it right within ourselves. That vast reservoir of good stands ready and waiting for our use at all times. We have but to tune into it, to become at one with it. Now, that energy has been called by the name God, the word that is receptive to the greatest vibratory influence known today. When we use that word in its right meaning, and it can be used in no other way to have any influence, we act upon all substance, we act upon every principle, we act upon all law and order, and that which we pronounce in good form is already ours. Just as Jesus said, before you have asked, I have answered, and while you are yet speaking, I have heard. Think of it, because we have sent forth in definite order and definite form the Word. At that instant, that which we state belongs to us. There is no time or space. It is well known today that perfection never could be created. It always was and is. If we think through our expressions to create perfection, we go outside of ourselves completely, because perfection is already created and is here and now. Therefore, by using right words, right thoughts, right actions, every word impinges upon that great vibratory influence. The thought first, and then the word expressed. In our Bible it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. As we that energy within our own form. The moment we speak a negative word, we are dissipating God's pure and perfect energy. Therefore, the more we learn to discipline ourselves to think, feel, speak, and act positively and constructively, the more of this potent energy do we generate to fulfill our calls and manifest perfection. Every statement made by Jesus manifested here and now. In his world there was no future, all was now. In the original language there is no word for the future, there is no word for the past. Every word in that language is the expression of here and now. In like manner, it is known today that every word we speak under positive, constructive influence is recorded, and it never goes out of existence. The very definite statement, I am God, is a determining factor in carrying humanity onwards. With that ideal, we progress. Each individual may prove this statement for himself. It is the one who can project an ideal and then hold his vision true to it, who accomplishes, in many cases, unconscious of how he has done so. Worship is not an idle action. It is necessary to put forth an effort to realize the ideal. That ideal held completely in thought must come forth in form. The thought in itself brings the thing into visible form. That vision projects so definitely that it is called from the source of all being and consolidated in its entirety. A clearly presented vision precedes it. It is important to hold to one condition at a time. Never permit your thoughts to wander at random or even to project another form until the first one has been accomplished. After the action is completed, let the thought go completely and turn to the next action. This is the definite understanding which Jesus had. Ye are gods and sons of the Most High. That was his thought regarding the fact of human existence. Always the highest, always the noblest, always the purest, always light. Never anything that might limit life and energy. Never failing, never doubting. Always the same singleness of purpose, directing thoughts. This projected vision can carry humanity above any fear or discordant condition of thought, can keep humanity always at that level of high accomplishment, going from a lesser to a greater field of usefulness. Such is the progression of our planetary system. The suns of all solar systems express in that way, draw an energy to themselves that greater energy may be given out. If our sun were a great lump of coal, it would sometime be consumed. No, it has existed for hundreds of millions of years. It draws to itself force, power, energy, making it available to our world as well as others. Man must learn the same lesson of the exchange of energy. The moment we withhold our forces, stagnation takes place. But if we give forth of what we have, the new always flows in to refill the space left by what was given out. The energy is inexhaustible if we use it in the right way and in the right direction. That is why this body of ours is renewed. If that energy is without us, it is also within us. If divinity is without, then we cannot keep it from within. All one need do is to make of himself a channel for the divine force. It is always pulsating and cannot be depleted. This is the essential explanation of man's immortality. This is an immortality to every thought, every act, and every word. There is a coalescing force which man cannot escape. What man generates and emanates accomplishes the fact which has always existed. The fact of all being has always existed in spirit, without beginning or end. Man always questions the nature of beginnings. It is not easy to conceive of anything without an origin. As far as man is concerned, beginning came into being with conscious or separate identity. Before that, man was spirit, and that state is one to which we shall return. The new attitude toward science and religion will enable us to realize the better things which have been promised. They are here now when we shall have opened ourselves to receive them. God is in no way the form of a human being. God is that supreme, intelligent power that permeates every form and every atom of the whole universe. When you realize that supreme, intelligent power is fully centralized within your form, you are that power. And by fully acknowledging that this power acts through you, you are that power. Each and every individual has the ability to be that power. This is the God kingdom into which every individual is born. And as soon as all see and know this, all are of God's kingdom. Now this next chapter is called Life Eternal. It talks about the amoeba. This is a very important chapter to me because it seems to be what I'm seeing has a kind of little light form hovering over it that seems to fit this description. From a select amoeba, the divine image never changes. It dominates the ideal and perfect form and passes on that perfect form unchanged to every new cell that is created in the entire form. Thus, every cell of the bodies of the entire human race not only has the perfect, but is the perfect image of supreme intelligence. Thus, we have the unassailable proof that man or humanity is the divine supreme intelligence, which is God, the conquering Christ, God-man, the result of the complete coalition of the Trinity. Indeed, every seed has the exact image of that which it will produce. Now let us sit quietly and look directly at this select amoeba and its ability to reproduce and send forth and unerringly implant its perfect image into every cell that, through multiplication, forms not only the human form, but every tree, every blade of grass, every flower, every crystal and every rock, as well as every grain of sand. In fact, by the close examination of crystals, all rock structure can readily be classified. It is thus with every grain of sand, as well as with all minerals. This crystallization is the foundation from which we learn their relationship to the whole, and their relationship and economic value to humanity. Let us return again to the high magnification and rapid photography which is being developed. We find that the minutest seed, when its germ cell is photographed under high magnification, has the exact form of that which it will produce and bring forth unerringly, and it is giving off a wavelength or a vibratory frequency which accompanies it throughout its circle of productivity. And through its frequency of vibration, it attracts to itself the energy that is necessary for its development into maturity. And this frequency of vibration, which is the divine life essence, which accumulates or draws to itself the substance, not only gives life to the tree, the flower, and all vegetable life as well as all minerals and metallic substance, but it is the very life of that substance. Now we are free to say that all substance has life expressing through it, and there is no change from that divine plan of perfection until man, through his thoughts, either enhances or debauches the perfection. It is also found that man is able to influence these emanations of perfection to a larger and greater productivity of presenting greater and greater thoughts of productivity and more abundant perfection. Let us return again to the amoeba, or first cell. While this cell is entirely different from that of the vegetable or mineral, its rate of vibration is much greater and is not to be compared with that of the mineral or the animal. It is found that its rate of vibration is the force that draws its energy or substance to itself, which causes its growth into new cells, which finally builds a human form, and the passing on to every cell created the first perfect and undeviating form of divinity. It now can definitely be seen that when humanity cooperates and in no way, through thought or expression, interferes with the ideal of divinity, the human form is ideally perfect. Thus we can say that it is God, body, pure and perfect. Let us see that divine energy and intelligence principle emanating from the single cell or amoeba, which its own principle of great vibratory frequency began drawing energy to itself, and then began dividing and multiplying until it came into a great focal point or form, wherein it could emanate and direct all forms, as well as put forth forms as of the image of itself. Humanity has never deviated from that perfect pattern or image. Photography shows these perfect forms, not only surrounding every form, but also other perfect forms coming forth. Where the scientists lack evidence, we have forged ahead to the complete knowing that we are that great emanating frequency. Sit quietly for a few moments with the statements, God, I am, as all are. God, I am divine intelligence. And know, and then admit to yourself, with all doubt removed, I am divine principle. I am divine love, and it flows forth. It flows through me to all the world. Then see yourself as God, and everyone you meet or see as God, and you will see that which is being accomplished in the sub-microscopic zone of life. For you will see an almost invisible drop of protoplasm that is transparent, jelly-like, capable of motions, drawing energy from the sun. It is already capable of using the light of the sun to break up the carbon dioxide in the air, forcing the atoms apart, seizing the hydrogen from the water, and producing carbohydrates, thus making its own food out of one of the world's most stubborn chemical compounds. This single cell, this transparent droplet, holds within itself the germ of all life. It not only has the germ, but it has the power to distribute this life to all living things, great and small. It not only has the germ, but it has the power to distribute this life to all living things, great and small. And it also fits that creature to its environment wherever life exists, even from the bottom of the ocean to the universe above. Time and environment have molded the form of every living thing so that it meets the infinite variety of all conditions. And as these living things develop their individuality, they sacrifice some of their flexibility to change and become specialized and fixed, losing the power to go back, but gaining a better and greater adjustment to the conditions as they exist. The power of this droplet of protoplasm and its contents is greater than the vegetation that clothes the earth in green, greater than all of the animals that breathe the breath of life. For all life comes from it, and without it no living thing would have been or could be. You will find that all of this is absolute truth, step by step. Humanity will know, as we know, that man is the universal source of this life. Man is master in the animal as well as in the vegetable and mineral kingdoms, completely endowed with supreme intelligence, in reality, the soul of all things. This divine intelligence man has never lost. He has only become shamefully unaware of this true God heritage through the setting up of his own debased thought structure. It is well at this point to stop and let go of, forget and forgive this debased thought structure and set up a real structure as man, the supreme intelligence, the master of all things, God and man, one. An amoeba is a microscopic, highly developed living cell composed of untold millions of atoms in orderly arrangement. Size is nothing to the infinite. The atom is as perfect as the solar system. This cell divides and forms two. The two divide and form four, and so on, ad infinitum, as cells do in every living creature. Each cell contains within itself the power to produce a complete individual. The cells themselves are immortal. They form the cells of all creatures, animal and vegetable, of today, and they are the exact replicas of their progenitors. We, as all humanity, are well-ordered replicas of billions on billions of similar cells, each cell a citizen intelligently doing its full quota of devoted service. This one cell also has the power to use sunlight to break up a chemical compound and make its own food, and enough for its brother cell. You will find that this division is absolutely basic as one of the essentials of life itself. Can it be further denied that man is immortal here, when there is every proof of divinity as immortality? All things that live start from a single cell, and this cell compels all of its descendants to perform the service and follow without deviation the design of the creature the original cell is to duplicate, whether it be a human, a turtle, or a rabbit. It is found that these cells have distinct intelligence, instinct as well as reasoning power, as it is well known that after division, portions of these cells are forced to change an entire nature to meet the requirements of that being of which they are a part. Why? Because the plan is set forth and is invincible to change, and that is the reason that man is divine, perfect, and invincible. It does not matter what thinking structure he evolves. This plan is absolutely irresistible and can never be changed. It is first principle, dominant and compelling, and is also the very reason that man is capable and abundantly able to reach the highest. In the event he fails to reach the highest in his immediate understandings, all that is necessary is for him to change his thought structure, which has circumvented him, to the true thought structure that is steadfastly fixed within his own mind, of which he always has an inherent instinct, and build a dominant thought structure which will allow him to reach to the highest conception to which thoughts can aspire. His easiest and most successful way of attainment to this highest goal is forever to let go or drop the thought structure that has bound him to the wheel of repetition, and set into immediate action that which will build up an invisible thought structure which will never fail in carrying him to the highest. The first suggestion is to place in his mind the thought and word God, knowing positively that it is the one point from which and where all success originates, also from which all success emanates. Then fix that thought of success with the thought, God, I am success. Then the next thought, God, I am abundantly able to succeed in every effort that I truthfully designate. Your next statement will be, God, I am the exact knowledge that goes with the ability to succeed. Your next statement will be, God, I am the infinite love also that love is the greatest cohesive power in the universe. Your next statement will be, God, I am the intelligence that guides all of my success into right and profitable channels. This will be followed by, God, I am the divine knowledge and the wisdom that gives the perfect to all of my success. God, I am the perfect Trinity, God the Conqueror, God the conquering Christ, God-man, and the one focal point of all creation. We are now dealing with God cells which never lose or change in any way. Thus men cannot change from divinity. The brain of man is built of these God cells, and this is the very reason that mind never changes. Thoughts may change 1,000 times a minute, as they are only reflexes from the subconscious. It is there that man has free will, for he can induce the subconscious to believe and store any thought put forth, or that which he perceives or is told by another. This subconscious is no portion of the brain itself, but is a ganglia of true cells located just below the heart center. These cells know neither impurity nor imperfection. They accept and store everything that is thought or spoken, and they have no way of discriminating. They also repeat that which they have stored, and man soon begins to believe what is repeated as truth. Soon he is unable to segregate truth from falsehood. This group of cells, however, may be influenced to let go of all false statements or falsehoods and accept and register true and absolute statements simply by talking directly to them. Suggest that they let go of all false and negative qualities, thoughts, and statements, and you will soon be aware that only true and constructive statements are registered in your world, which in turn reflects to you and through you. Then will follow the awareness of a great serenity of purpose. These cells have no way of discriminating except